Like where I came from when I got to Xavier, I was nervous. I was, I felt a little defeated because I wasn't the only smart black kid anymore. To now, I'm a smart black kid. My best friend is a smart black kid. We're all smart black kids out here doing our thing. I've always been a precocious child, according to my family. When I say family, I don't just mean like my mom and my dad and my three younger brothers, because that's not my definition of family. Our definition, family is so much bigger than that. So all of us kind of live in the same area. So like, I'm at my grandmother's, both of them, their houses just as much as I am at home. So I got support from all sides. And so my aunt Kenya always tells this story about me that like told her the kind of person I was gonna be. So she said that one day she was talking to me and she was like, Thad, that's what my family calls me. Thad, you just think you know everything, don't you? And I said to her, and Kenya, God tapped me on the shoulder and told me that me, him, and Mr. Smarty Pants were the three smartest people in the world. And so that wit, I guess, has kind of been something I gained like as a member of my family. And they saw that in me, and so they supported that. So that coupled with the fact that most of my family members, like as I mentioned, were in education, it was just a no-brainer that I was going to be so passionate about education myself. Like I mentioned earlier, my dad is a professor. My mother, she's a Sunday school teacher, but she also does like professional development. So like teaching is like a major theme in like my life. And so at home, of course, what do your grades look like this 9 weeks? I remember very vividly the first time I ever made a B in elementary school. It was 4th grade and it was in science. And I hid my report card like that whole afternoon. And I showed it to my mama finally because she asked for it. She knew it was coming. And she was like, I'm disappointed, but I know you're disappointing yourself because we both know that you can do better. So do better. So I said, yes, ma'am. And I was happy I didn't get in worse trouble. But that disappointment is still sat with me. So in high school, I kind of settled into my groove. So that's when we moved to Clinton. And so I was at, the Clinton high schools for those 4 years. And so I was able to really like plant roots and, meet people. I still have a group of close friends that I talk to. And I also learned about how much I enjoy being involved in school. I honestly wasn't thinking about the merits of an HBCU when I was applying to schools. So I applied to a couple of institutions, white and black. I applied to Jackson State, Southern University, and Tougaloo in Mississippi. And then I applied to another predominantly white institution that I was familiar with. So I wanted to go to that PWI. So I retook the ACT just so I would qualify for their full ride because my parents told me like, Edward, you're a good student. We're not paying for your undergraduate education. And it that wasn't like a threat. It was like we have faith in you, or at least that's how I received it. So I took the ACT like 5 times to make sure I got my score to their requirement. So I got to the requirement, and so I did the rest of the scholarship qualifications, and they only gave out 4 full rides, and I was number 5. So after that, I looked at the other schools I had applied to. So Jackson State and Southern and other schools. And then I was just kind of picking which one I wanted to do. So it ended up coming down between Jackson State and Xavier. So funny story about Xavier, I didn't know that Xavier existed until February of my senior year in high school. And I actually didn't even apply myself to Xavier. My mother did the application for me. She was like, send me your essay, send me your grades. And she did the application. So I went to the scholarship dinner at Jackson State. And, it was great. Like I saw people, like all of my family went there. My mother went there. My father went there. 3 of my 4 grandparents went there. My dad, 2 of my grandparents were professors there. So like I could have been in there. So I decided I want to do something different. Like I knew it was going to be safe and it was going to be comfortable for me, but I wanted to challenge myself, and I had, the opportunity to do so. So for that reason, I chose Xavier. And at the time, it was again because of the full ride and it wasn't home. But like since I've gotten here, I'm like so glad I made this decision because Xavier's like my home. Like I tell people all the time about how I didn't understand like why my parents took their institution so seriously. Like, we would always go to the Jackson State games when I was growing up. And as I got like in high school, I was like, it's just college. Like, what's the big deal? But like now that I'm here and I think about all the memories I've made, all the relationships I've made, all the experiences I've had, and like the experiences I still have to like yet to have as an alumnus, I'm like really excited about Xavier and the fact that I am a Xavier, right? In high school, I had my family as a support system because at the end of the day, I was gonna go back home and sit up under my mom and my dad and my brothers. So I really only needed support from like the academic side, and that's what my teachers gave me. But when I got to Xavier, it was just me. I would go to the dorm and it was me. So I stuck to my guns. I worked on getting involved in campus. It was a transition. Like there was a period where I didn't want to like talk to anybody because when I was in Clinton is like a predominantly white town. So I was like the smart black kid. And I think that was my thing. And so that kind of goes back to that whole exceptional idea. I think I was exceptional because I was smart and I was the smart black kid. When I got to Xavier, everybody was a smart black kid. And so I had to kind of like redefine who I thought of myself as. And so Xavier supported me in that. Like I got involved in clubs that helped me broaden my interests. I was an orientation guide for 3 years. I got involved in community service. I discovered a passion for service and like actually getting out in the community and helping, meeting needs through Xavier, because that's so the foundation of the institution. So Xavier helped me understand my identity as a whole person, as a whole black person. And that was like invaluable. That's that home feeling that I got. I felt like all of me was supported in that space. So HBCUs were founded like during Reconstruction because black students couldn't get into the white schools. So we made our own institutions. And so that is a like strong point to start, building a legacy. So HBCUs were built for us by us, and they still are. Like Xavier, for instance, is the only black Catholic institution in the country. And I think that's so, significant because before I got to New Orleans, I didn't realize that there was such a like prominent black Catholic population. But through Xavier, I learned that there definitely is. Like my best friend is a Catholic, and I've gone to mass with her before. And so I just learned a lot about Catholicism just because I go to Xavier. Our previous president, Dr. Norman C. Francis, is the longest sitting university president in the country. He served for 47 years. Yeah. So the history is important, and the history is what we find our pride in. And even like my own history, like where I came from when I got to Xavier, I was nervous. I was, I felt a little defeated because I wasn't the only smart black kid anymore. To now, I'm a smart black kid. My best friend is a smart black kid. We're all smart black kids out here doing our thing. So I want to be an educator. My ultimate goal is to be a university president. So like now I'm applying to master's and PhD programs, and I'll see what I hear back. But more than that, I want to create and support a space for students of marginalized backgrounds, be it because of their ethnicity, their sexual orientation, their gender, their religion, what have you. Because our voices are just as important and just as valid as the prominent, dominant voices in our society. Our history is just as important. And so I want my life to be in service to supporting those people in the margins and bringing them to the center, because we all can stand to learn something from each other.